Hello, everyone. Uh, Welcome back to this another installment of the amazing podcast, Kicked from Orbit. We have Drago, as always,
Hello.
and also Halozenic.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
If you don't know who Halozenic is, he's a streamer on YouTube. He does trials help, um, which is kind of rare now. Interesting
For sure.
with the dwindling trials population. But you want to
Yep.
tell us a bit about yourself and
For
how
sure.
you
For
help
sure.
people with trials?
Yeah, so I started streaming on YouTube consistently in September of 2019. I've had a YouTube channel for about 2.5 to 3 years now, but just kind of recently got back into it and started staying consistent with it. And mainly did that because of trials being advertised in season 10. I was like, you know what? Let me get back into the Destiny scene and start streaming a little bit. And that turned into something more consistent, and I've just kind of been streaming and growing my channel since then. Just to try and prepare for trials, which dropped at the beginning of season 10. And as Pappy said, yeah, I do trials help on my channel every weekend. But so kind of my experience with that. The first, I feel like this is a pretty common feeling for most of the Destiny community, is the first several weeks of trials, minus Widow's Court. We don't talk about that weekend. We're pretty fun. I had a good time on Burnout the first weekend, and then Anomaly the second weekend. That's kind of when it started getting frustrating because people found out about the Antaeus wards and Bastion combo. And those just not very fun. Not very fun to play against.
I'm a Titan. I do not use anti-swords at all whatsoever.
Hey, I respect you for it. I save the Antaeus words for the 3.0 matches where I match up against people that are flexing their stats, and I'm like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And but other than that, I try not to touch Antaeus on streams. But I think I enjoy doing the trials carries up to, or help up to a certain point where it starts getting a little cheesy and frustrating. And I think a lot of the community has felt that, especially as season 10 has gone on, and the dwindling trials population. Casuals are leaving because it's not fun for them. I don't know how much trials you guys have been playing, but I don't know if you felt the ramp up in skill with the decreasing population.
Yeah, I mean, as definitely someone who, like, I'm not bad, but I'm not great either. I'd say I'm probably like slightly above average.
I'm right there
Probably
with you.
like,
I'm like a 1.2. I'm not amazing. I'm not terrible.
and it's like I enjoy it if I'm just playing for fun, but there'll be matches where, like, last time I played, I matched Calico and another guy, and he was running with a guy and another guy in BSK, and then another sweat guy, and it's like we got steamrolled,
Yep.
and that all of us were like, it's just no fun. We've only gotten one win, and we've played like 7 games.
Yep. Exactly. And it makes me feel
Yeah, with trials for me, the more you go on, yeah, it gets sweaty. That was on the first few weeks, but even if just try and get the third win, it's a sweat fest now, pretty much.
And I really feel for the people who play this on a more casual level, because it's so discouraging, especially as like just an average player, yeah, exactly. It's so discouraging to load into a game, yeah, and to get just completely run over by a team, especially when you're not even like 2 or 3 wins into a card. That's super discouraging for me, and I'm like average at the game. So it makes me feel for the people who maybe play PvE more and then jump into PvP to try and get some like gear that is basically gated by skill, just to kind of get curb stomped pretty much.
Yeah. The only time I ever got above 3 wins was the first week because I was trying super hard at it.
Yep.
But now it's just it's so hard.
Yeah, the first week for trials, that got to be the best week of trials by far. Although, apart from the Revoker and Hard Light spam, it was the best week by far.
Yep, and that was with hard light meta, Revoker meta, but I think it was also because of the trials population at the time.
Influx, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 350k, I think.
You had a lot of people playing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Cause yeah, and then it's just you have to get 3 wins to be able to spend your tokens each week, which is like
Exactly.
I feel like that makes it even harder because it if you're if you're like me and you can't get above 3 wins, you keep losing and losing, and you have these tokens by the end of the week that you won't be able to spend. So it feels like your work has been for nothing.
Pretty much. That's just frustrating to spend that much time and then for nothing.
And then your tokens go on the reset, so it's like all that work for nothing down the drain.
Yep.
Yeah. So moving on to the next topic, Felwinters lie.
Oh my god. Felwinters lie. This has basically been the tipping point, I think, for season 10 for the entire Destiny community. It's
more like
hilarious watching it
Bungie's-
on Twitter.
It's more like Bungie's big ass.
Pretty
lie.
much. Pretty much. Oh my god.
Yeah, so you should have dropped it like the quest up at the start of season 10, and then
Uh-huh.
the whole community works from the start of season 10 all the way to the end of season 10, start of season 11, and then we get Felwinters at the start of season 11.
Like dropped the quest at the beginning of season 10 basically. Mhm.
Yeah, I think it would have been interesting if they let us fail, and then they were like, "Oh, we're actually gonna bring it back, in the Iron Banner, and it's gonna be in the in his inventory, so you can get it that way."
Okay, like a Saladin quest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I there is so many questions I have about that I would love to like sit down with someone like DMG and just discuss. Like, not and here's the thing that I've seen on Twitter, which I 100% agree with. Like, people like DMG are not to blame for this, and I think I think it does show kind of what happened with the parting from Activision that Bungie took last year, and
Mm-hmm.
how they don't exactly have the manpower that they used to get stuff out and make sure that it's 100% correct. Yeah, hence the bug that is happening right now in the game, where people aren't able to access that third quest step after the shotgun kills. Which, yeah, I think the main thing that's hurting Bungie right now
The
is their
raid
lack
boss
of manpower.
door.
The raid boss door, dude. That thing, unlimited health.
Right, who'd win a fight? The forklift from Barrel Racing League, or the
Yeah.
indestructible door?
Some would
Who would
say
win?
Oryx is not even that powerful, dude. Some might say that.
I mean, I think it's also too that it is during like all their employees are working from home right now, so it's a
Mhm.
bit harder to get out a quick fix like they normally would.
Yep.
And I think that on top of season 10 not being as great because besides trials, the towers are just so lame. It just feels like a boring public event where you just throw balls at a
Yeah.
and it's time consuming.
Yep, it is. It's basically a reskinned public event, which is kind of frustrating. It feels like we need something new. I think they did an amazing job. For me personally, Opulence was my favorite season that they've come out with in a long time. And Menagerie, and the way that they made a whole different
Yes.
type of
And how it was random every
exactly,
single time we played.
and how they
It was-
made just a completely different type of game mode versus do this, and just it feels like grindy and just not fun. Like, I feel like season 11 needs to have some of what they had in Opulence.
where it's just it's still the same thing over, but it's random each
Exactly.
time, and it's worth your time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for Menagerie, they should just wipe the entire loot pool from Menagerie right now and replace it with weapons.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would
Yeah.
play that if there was a new loot pool in Menagerie.
With new weapons, like weapons from Black Armory, Gambit Prime, Reckoning, just them type of weapons. Just there's a nice new loot pool in there for people to grind, and you can get the
Yep.
curated
I think
version.
I think that's, since you mentioned it, that's one thing that I'd like to see out of Season 11 is Bungie bringing old activities up to the current state. Because, I mean, who does forges? Who does, like, old strikes? Like, there's really no incentive to do them unless you're basically, like, bounty grinding.
Yeah, like nowadays, you can literally solo a heroic public event like with ease. There's no challenge in it whatsoever.
And I feel like also if you introduced old stuff back into like next seasons and stuff like that, it would give more playable content. But also if they were to bring back Leviathan or something like that and have different roles on the weapons,
For sure.
or something like that, it would add a reason to grind for. And with weapon sunsetting, you'd be able to get your old gun. It'd be like getting the Might and Mini tool or Drang from Menagerie.
Yeah. How do you guys, now that you mentioned it, how do you guys feel about weapon sunsetting? What are your thoughts on that?
I am not happy about armor sunsetting, but weapon sunsetting I'm definitely happy about. Because it's like I'll still be able to run around with my favorite guns in Crucible.
Yep.
It won't matter unless I'm playing Trials or Iron Banner, but like I think it'll definitely improve the PvE content and won't get stale and boring because you'll be using new loadouts each season.
Definitely.
Yeah, for me, armor and weapon sunsetting. I agree with Pappy. Armor sunsetting won't really matter that much, and it shouldn't even be a thing. But weapon sunsetting, like people are still going to use spare rations and mind benders in quick play, even still with weapon sunsetting. So they need to fix PvP as a whole for it to work.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Poppy on that one. I like that they are sunsetting weapons because it allows for one new a new grind for a weapon that you might want that you're seeing a lot in competitive activities such as like Trials or even the comp playlist. But also it allows a kind of a new meta to evolve, and I think Destiny's had the same weapon meta for so long. At least it feels that way. Like, and especially this season, not a fan of the auto meta. It's kind of not very rewarding at all.
Yeah, with the auto rifle meta, yeah, there may be hard lights everywhere. People are saying that hard lights better than Shuros, but it's really not if you think about it. Shuros will always be the king of auto rifles.
So you play more on PC, right?
I play more on PC and still play console now and again to play Phantom.
I feel like with the aim assist on console, I'm seeing every match of Trials that I've played this week, and there's been one auto rifle at least, if not 3 summoners with bastions. Like, God.
Yeah, lots of bastions.
I am a big fan of the weapon sunsetting. I think it, like I said, allows a chance for something new to be brought up, and like a new meta, a new gun people want to grind for, want to get a good roll on. To bring into like a competitive gameplay arena.
Yeah, and also you look at all the guns that came out this season that are viable, but people pass them up because they already have their god roll mindbenders and
pretty much
other stuff.
And even this season there wasn't a lot of new guns. It was faction guns that were kind of reinstated into the game.
Like the other good faction weapon which has been brought back is Dire Promise. Let's face it, Dire Promise.
Yeah, Dire Promise is pretty good. That I will say that is one gun that they brought back that kind of stands out. But I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of any new weapons that they brought into Season 11 other than like the Trials weapons, like Astral, Eye of Soul, that kind of like really stand out to me. And I think one big thing that I'm looking forward to in Season 11 is possibly a vendor reset between Vanguard, Crucible, even Gambit. I don't care. Just like some new weapons would be nice when you're turning in tokens, because I have 10,000 Crucible tokens and I don't want to turn them in. I've got all my stuff. Like, it's just a waste of time.
They should also bring back faction rallies because let's face it, they were the best. Grinding hours and hours on end just for the tokens, sitting back watching a movie. It was the best.
That would be nice. I'll say that.
Bring back faction rallies.
That was a fun little weekly competitive thing to,
And they had it, and then they just took it out of the game. And it's like, why take factions out of the game? They were in the game since D1.
Yep. Now they're just sitting there.
Yeah, they just sit there. They don't do anything.
Oh, poor factions.
How are we supposed to get our dance party token?
Exactly. Come on now.
Well, I mean, I hope next season's good. I hope it's better than this one. 'Cause
I do
this
too.
one-
Yeah, I mean,
This one's not that great.
I think they've done a pretty decent job of bringing a good bit of content in the fall, or I guess it'll be midsummer when they release this time. But usually their fall expansions are pretty good. Shadowkeep was kind of on the lower spectrum. The beginning of Destiny 2 was an absolute mess, but Forsaken, they absolutely like nailed Forsaken. So I'm hoping for another. Yeah. It was a very good expansion. I'm hoping for another Forsaken level expansion if they can bring that type of game experience to this new season. Then I think Bungie will be on their way back up.
I think what a lot of the community is wanting for the next season is replayability, not just like bounties and quests and stuff.
For sure.
They want content that they can keep playing and not worry about rewards. They want to have something that's fun and enjoyable.
Yep.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yep, we'll see. We'll see what happens in Season 11. We got a couple more weeks now, right?
Yeah, we got like, what?
21 days?
Yep, we have 20 days and 19 hours as of recording this.
Fingers,
so when it'll go up,
fingers
like
crossed they don't.
14.
Yeah, they don't make any delays or anything. I know. I think didn't Shadowkeep get pushed back a week or something? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a much bigger DLC.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, I imagine we'll see a trailer or something soon.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm excited.
Well, seems like that's a good place to finish it up, you know?
Sounds good to me, man. Thank you guys for having me. This was fun.
No problem. It's great having you on, man.
No problem at all, David.
Alrighty, guys.
Good luck on your trials help.
Thank you so much.